Cheryl Torres here. I wanted to talk a little bit about how to really stand out from the market. So, counterintuitively, it's actually focusing in that helps you to grow. It seems not to make sense with how we normally think about things. The big companies do all these things. But when you really, really look at it, the companies who are most successful with least, like lower overhead, startups, things like that, are those who really, really focus in. So, smaller is bigger. So think about what your competition is doing, who your competition is, and how you can actually focus in a way that makes your business not competing directly with them. For example, if you want to coach providers, healthcare providers, like instead of focusing on coaching just doctors generically, you might focus on coaching podiatrists, on work-life balance, for example. And obviously you need to research and make sure there is a group of people that fall within that niche who have that need and fall into the demographics that you're looking for. So as we'll, as I kind of discuss in this one pager, you'll see that it's important to make sure your customer can support your business, and make sure that they exist, basically. Like if there is one podiatrist out there who loves to collect spoons, then maybe that's not your niche. But if you want to coach podiatrists who are seeking to achieve work-life balance and retire young, maybe there's 40,000 people in America alone that fit that mold. So think about it just in a different way than you might be right now, where like, I want to grow my business, so I need to reach all the people. Focus in on the customer that you really want to work with. Like, do they have values that are similar to yours? And so you want to use your skills and knowledge to support their work and get them to the goals that you're going to help them achieve. Or is it, you can look at it in a way that maybe you've built a business that has some customers, it's providing what you need to live, but you're working harder than you need to, and you are not growing as quickly as you would like to. Think about all of your customers and which ones add the most value to your company but cause the least work. So you don't want those customers that require your highest level of time and knowledge gathering, and depending on again your type of business, who don't require the most investment of your resources, time, money, products, those kind of things, and energy. Especially avoid the energy draining customers. Do not make those your target customer. But those that you enjoy working with, that are able to pay for your services or products, and become and have the potential financially to be repeating customers. If your model currently doesn't allow for repeat customers or clients, create a model that does, so that whether if it's coaching and maybe they need coaching to get to the next level, make sure that you are ready once they get to the next level to stay in communication with them, so that then you can take them to the next level. So these are just kind of a barrage of ideas to keep in mind as you're figuring out how you can focus your business. Think small, very, very targeted, because you look at pretty much anything, and again, it feels wrong. Maybe you're like, oh, but there's only this many people, because this was always the case, but more so now, because we're able to connect to the world online. So unless you're brick and mortar, in that case, you need to think a little bit differently about things, but even still, like, find your niche within your community that's not being directly serviced. But we can connect to the entire world. There are billions of people in the world, and pretty much every niche has at least several 100,000, if not millions, that could potentially become your customers. And because you are specialized in that niche, you are not competing with anybody else. If you find a niche where you're not competing, or your competition, you have a very unique way of approaching it so that you are blowing your competition like out of the water. Like, you are the go-to. You can say, we provide the best success ladder for going back to those podiatrists who are seeking work-life balance and early retirement. Again, might be a little too specific, but you get the idea. Like, go more specific than you think you can, and approach that way. And then you can back out back further out. But it's much harder if you get yourself stuck to a large audience to hone in later, because then you have to cut. So start small, grow, but don't grow too much. Start small, stay focused. For more on this, you can either stick with me and I'll be sharing more tips and insights and things like that. If you want to do your own research, a couple books that I would recommend are the 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch, I believe he says it, and the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. That's a real short book. I don't remember who writes it. But it really breaks down the importance of just focusing small, staying focused, and making sure that your customers can clearly identify who you are, what you do, the value you provide. Because once they do that, then you are that go-to in that niche. You become the leader of the niche. And to be the leader or the pioneer, you've established yourself in such a way that you don't have to fight for it. You need to maintain it, but you don't have to fight for it. And that is priceless, basically. Like, that means your potential is just maximized to the fullest. Obviously, you have to be aware of the environment. You have to be cognizant of changing technology and things like that to stay relevant. But if you stay on top of your game and your niche and keep establishing yourself and doing what it takes to stay the leader in that niche, again, don't try to be the cola that's already taken. But maybe you could be the, thinking off the top of my head here, the tea cola guys, like the first people that mix tea and cola. Please don't do that. Probably not a good idea. But you find things that have been done, or maybe you already have a completely unique idea, but find things that have been done and do it in such a different way that it stands out, and you can say, we are the leaders in this, period. Hope that's helpful. Hope you enjoy going through this one-pager process, and please feel free to reach out if you have questions. At the bottom there is actually a challenge that I do recommend. It's not mine, it's an affiliate, but it's one that I've gone through, and even like I said, even as a marketer with lots of experience, it was just helpful to hone in my focus on what I'm doing. And I believe everything that you can find that adds tools to your tool belt, knowledge, different ideas, different perspectives, can be really helpful, especially when it's focused. And again, focused knowledge, focused education, focused work, even doing what you're doing, focusing on your strengths is going to help you skyrocket. So focus, think small to go big. All the best.